Hello, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for continuing to join me on this journey. I hope you like the new backdrop I have behind me. Today I want to have a serious talk with you guys. Talk about history. You see, those who can't remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This follows the saying, history repeats itself. You see, the names change, the countries change, the faces change, the location changes, but some things never seem to change, do they? Some things seem like a pattern that's been here forever. You see, if you don't know the past, how can you know what to do in the present? If you don't know what to do in the present, it will affect the future. This is how generational curses come about. This is how families seem to go down a downward spiral. How you pick up so much of the patterns that your father passed down to you. See, it's a danger if you don't know your family history. When you go to the doctor, don't they ask you about your family history? Shouldn't you know what kind of illnesses fall within your family? But it's deeper than that. Shouldn't you know your family tree? Shouldn't you know past your grandparents? Don't you want to know that kind of stuff? Your country's history. Isn't it important to know the history of the place that you're living in today? How this country came to be? The world history. Don't you want to know more about the world? Don't you want to know the hidden truths in this world? How will you ever know it if you don't know the history of this world? You see, some of it's not your fault. You're not taught this at school. But you reach a certain point, you're not going to school no more. College can only teach you so much. It's up to you to find out this knowledge. You see, education is the key to success. That was one of the pictures in the last podcast with Johnny Eagleton. But there's another one, another powerful saying, knowledge is the key to power. So you see, education is the key to success, but knowledge is the key to power. Education is derived from knowledge, but education is a man-made construct. You see, man decides what you need to know in your education process. Education is knowing what you need to know to do what you need to do with that knowledge. When you go to school, they teach you certain things so you can pass that class, so you can do good on that test. When you get a job, your teacher, your mentor, whoever had the job before you, educates you on how to properly do that job. Education happens all around the world, but knowledge is where the real power lies. You see, education usually has a structure, has an order. You have to learn the algebra before you can learn the calculus. You have to take calculus 1 before you take calculus 2. There's an order when it comes to education. Knowledge, on the other hand, is like an infinite fountain of information and pure wisdom. Knowledge never stops. Knowledge is always expanding, and it's impossible for one human to understand all the knowledge within this world. And the funny thing about that is, the more knowledge you know, the more you realize you don't know things. That's with any field. The more you learn about one thing, the more you realize you don't know as much as you thought you knew about that one thing. In today's world, look around who owns all the knowledge. Where do we keep all the knowledge today? Where's all the information at? Might be a library. You should go check out the library. You might meet one of my podcast guests, Kenya, the Princess Warrior, at a violin library. Libraries are a great place to get a ton of knowledge, and it's usually just free. All you need is your library card. But knowledge is hidden in other places nowadays because of technology. Knowledge and information is within the data. Because data is just a bunch of information put together, ones and zeros that make up information. And there's data on all of us. Data is gathered by people more powerful than us because they have more knowledge than us. If you know more than the next guy, then you can be more powerful than him because you can know the things he doesn't know. If you know everything in the world right now, you can predict the future. When it comes to physics, the main thing you need to know is where a thing is at, where a atom is, and how fast it's going. Then you can predict where that atom will be next in 1 second from now. If you have the velocity, the acceleration of that atom, and you have the location of that atom, you can tell where the next location of that atom will be. In 1 second, where will the atom be? This is basic physics. You're driving in a car, you're going north, you're driving 50 miles per hour. In 1 hour, where will you be? 50 miles north from where you are. That's with everything in this world, though. The more knowledge you know, the better off you are at predicting the future. Knowledge is power. Back to this data. Pay attention to who owns all the data in this world. Pay attention to what they do with this data. If you have enough data, you can predict through algorithms what will interest people. If you get enough data on someone, you can give them recommendations on what they will like, and they're more likely to bite into it. If you know every movie someone ever watched, it's easier to recommend the next movie for them. When we go forth in this world, pay attention to who owns your data. Pay attention to who has the power in this world. And sometimes you have to ask yourself as a consumer, do you want to keep giving up all your power? Do you want to keep giving up all this data? Do you want someone to know everything about you? Do you feel safe if there's someone out there that can predict your next move? Pay attention. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.